now walk the line. No more silence, it's justice time. Our babies cry, their hearts betrayed, 5 torn from home while cowards obey. Do you hold the pen that writes the fate of families crushed beneath the stain? By what authority do you dare to steal what love and conscience bear? Hands off our kids, you crossed the line. You used our children as your shield, but truth is marching sword unsealed. By what authority we now demand? Stand and face the people stand. A fallen jail for loving strong, held 5 months for doing no wrong. You point your guns and call it peace, but your power's built on fear, deceit. So we rise in the name of liberty, with battle pain and baskets clarity. From Beacon Hill, we cry aloud. The people speak, sovereign and proud. Hands off our kids, the line is drawn. No fiction law will shield your wrong. We want our family whole again, and justice for the rivers when. By what authority? Answer now. The people rise, we won't bow.
Hello, Boston, and hello, Kuhner Country. Thank you all so much for coming out for this very important gathering, because we've talked the talk for a long time, and today we're going to walk the walk. I just got a call from Jeff. He is parking. He will be here momentarily. In the meantime, I ask all of you to come over to the tables and learn about the vital information that can help protect you from being persecuted like the Rivera family. The Rivera family story is so shocking. There's a post circulating on X that actually says it's one of the darkest stories of the year. Basically, a family left the state with their 5 children because they did not want to vaccinate their baby. And the mother and father have been in jail for weeks. Mother just got out week before last. Father is still in jail. So I ask a couple of things. If you please find the donation box over there. Their donations are being blocked by GoFundMe and GiveSendGo. They've been stuck at like the same amounts for 5 days. I've been told that the banks are actually withholding them. We have the vaccine police here. He's had $50,000 withheld from him by GoFundMe. So if you would please consider helping this family. We need to get this father out of jail so that he can reunite with his 5 children. Jeff Kuhner is parking right now. He's going to be here momentarily. We have a great lineup of speakers that will also be sharing very empowering information with you. So thank you all so much for coming, and please make your way over to the table because, like I said, we're not just talking the talk here. We're going to walk the walk. after we sign these notices, we are walking them into the State House, because as you all know, the governor was invited today. She was invited to our little press conference so that she could hear how we feel about everything. Aren't we her people? Isn't it her duty to hear us and our grievances? Yeah, she doesn't think so. So we'll just bring it down. Yep. Somebody said a coward. Okay, well, she's a lot more than that. She's a tyrant. And if you get this knowledge, you take these steps, you will help us all be free from tyranny. Tyranny of any kind. These are tyrants. They must be held accountable. We have the Department of Government Accountability here. We have American Made Foundation, American Made Action, some prominent attorneys, Mass Family Institute, Julie Booras from Health Rights MA, and a great spectrum of speakers. So hang with us. Jeff will be here momentarily. We'll get going. Thank you so much, everyone. The music you've been hearing is Christina Viera, and you can find her music online. You'll be hearing some more of it, as well as some original patriotic songs from Ron Bouchard of WeThePeople2.us. Really urge you all to go to WeThePeople2.us. It's a font of information, empowering information. So let's all... All right, I've just been informed of something very interesting. Today's
Yom HaShoah Day, Holocaust Remembrance Day, a dark day in world history, so it's appropriate we're having today's rally to stop that kind of tyranny in our country.
And if you haven't visited it yet, make sure you get down by Faneuil Hall and look at the Holocaust Memorial. It is an extremely moving experience. It's also Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day, April 24th. Amazing. It's also one of my best friend's birthdays and the birthday of my second grandchild. So this mother right here, while we have a little time, this grandmother actually came here all the way from California.
My name is Sharon, and my daughter's over here. Her name is Hazel, and pretty soon you are all going to hear about the baby Remy story. My daughter's been fighting 2 years. My grandson's been in DCF care. Judge Jennifer Elwick out of Lawrence, DCF, wants to give back my grandson, thinks that he should be with the mother. The mother is not a substance user. I'm not judging anybody. She's a very good mother, and there's no reason. Here she is. Come here, Hazel. And she's been fighting to get back her son, and they won't give him back. She's been fighting tooth and nail to get him back, and they have no way to give him back. They stopped house visits. They don't want a house visit with her. They denied her everything, that even an outside visit with her son. She's not allowed to go to a park. Okay, sorry. Okay. So then, the other issues that we're having is that his final trial's coming up. They want to adopt him out. This is unacceptable. 2 years she's been working, 2 years. 2 years. Doing everything on the Family Action Plan. On top of that, with this being Holocaust Memorial Day, we are Romani descent. And also, not only was it the Jewish people who died, it was the Romani gypsy people who died. But we don't like to be called gypsies because that's a derogatory name. The Department of Children and Families is calling my daughter a gypsy and saying you ain't gonna get back your son, gypsy.
Remington has been in there all this time. I don't get to have birthdays with my son. My heart breaks 6 days and 23 hours out of a week because I only get 1 hour with my son. And all I'm looking for is to have Remington back home. I'm a loving mother. I've been working with the department so hard. In the process, I bent over and hurt my back through it. I'm looking to have Remington Gonzales' story heard and to have justice for Remington and the rest of the children that is in the department and to Family Children Services to come home to their families where they belong. We want Remington home, and we want the rest of the children home back with their family. Justice for all.
Absolutely, and I feel your pain.
We came here January 23rd. We walked here inside the State House, me and Hazel, to get some sort of justice, to be heard because they're so corrupt. Lori McNeil out of Lawrence DCF is corrupt. Laura Brody, the Regional Eastern Department of Children and Families Director, is corrupt. We came here asking for help. We had Olivia. We didn't come empty-handed. Let me explain to you. We didn't come empty-handed. We came from Maura Healy. We gave her gifts, beautiful gifts. We knew she liked basketball. We bring her everything from the Celtics.
And what happened?
What happened was that they never let Maura Healy see me or my daughter. What they did was they accepted the gifts. They got us in touch with Olivia, her assistant, who got in touch with the same person that she was speaking to from the Ombudsman office. We got in touch with Jennifer Green. She's the director of the Ombudsman office.
And nothing's happened. They're still withholding the child.
They're still withholding the child. And then on top of that, we're back at square one with no lawyer. We need a lawyer. We need maybe Remy.
We have lawyers here. We also have journalists who want to hear your story. She came all the way from California to be here today, ladies and gentlemen. He's being abused.
And they never took him to a doctor after showing them the pictures of the abuse. Thank you, everyone.
We will get your story. Don't leave here. Independent journalists here who want to hear your story. There was also another woman here earlier where we need you to tell your story to a journalist later, okay? Right now, I would like to welcome, put your hands together. Where is this man? He's so elusive. The fearless, the one, the only national treasure of truth, Jeffrey Kuhner!
Thank you very much. Sorry I'm late. I got stuck in major traffic. And then they closed off the parking garage at the Common. I don't think that was an accident. No, I don't. Okay, so to everyone out there, before we begin officially to kick off today's very important rally, the police are saying we have to have a clear sidewalk or else they're going to have to get involved. So
step forward.
Please step a little bit
Come
forward.
Get off the
We're very
sidewalk.
law-abiding, obviously very peaceful. Let me be perfectly frank with all of you. When Black Lives Matter was running wild and torching cars and destroying businesses and actually shooting at the police, I didn't hear any warnings from the police. Let me just be brutally honest. When they're keying Tesla cars and torching them or shooting up Tesla dealerships, suddenly they don't care if the sidewalk is full, right? But it's okay, they have their orders, I understand. But the harassment campaign is not going to work. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. And so, my friends, the reason why we're all here today is because the politicians behind us in this state legislature, which is supposed to be, at least in theory, the people's house, is corrupt to the core. And we're here to put every single member of that state legislature and every single member of the Department of Children and Families, but above all, that clown woke of a governor who is a disgrace to the people and taxpayers of Massachusetts and to the people and taxpayers of this country. That Boston is rising. And just as we recently celebrated, just a week ago, actually less than a week ago, the historic 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's ride Warning, the British are coming. The British are coming. Tyranny is at the door. What you're seeing here, and I'm telling you, we've got a big, big announcement to make, is the opening shot of the Second American Revolution. And we are here to tell the corrupt politicians on Beacon Hill, to tell Maura Healey, to tell the Department of Children and Families, and the Department of Children Protective Custodies in states after states, that your days of running wild and tearing apart families and kidnapping children from good, decent parents is over. It's over. And so we've got an incredible lineup of speakers. You're going to hear from them. You're going to hear about this historic announcement that is not just for Massachusetts. It is going to be in state after state after state. It is one of the most important grassroots initiatives in the last 50 years of this country. And so, before I start inviting speakers, we are here for many reasons today. But the primary reason is not just to reclaim our rights and to defend parental authority and parental consent and the dignity and autonomy of the family and the fundamental rights and liberties of American citizens. But we are here to reunite the Rivera family. Izzy and Kathy are two decent, salt-of-the-earth American citizens. Their only crime is that they love their children, literally. And they have 5 beautiful children. 10, 9 years old, 5 years old, 4 years old. And the one that's now at the heart of this scandal, and I'm telling you right now, the media can try to cover it up, the corrupt police can try to cover it up, and the corrupt politicians here can try to cover it up. But this scandal is so egregious and so bad and so flagrant, they can't cover it up. These are 2 homeschoolers with 5 children, and they decided they have a 9-month-old baby boy, healthy. Even the pediatrician who treated them wrote in his notes, this has been repeatedly reported, it's indisputable, that the baby, in the doctor's words, healthy, well-fed, well-cared for. In fact, a happy baby. It's a beautiful little baby. And Izzy and Kathy made the decision, as parents have the right to do in a free country, to say, we don't want to give them school-mandated vaccinations. Thank you, but no thanks. Because after all, it's not the government's baby, it's their baby. And for this, I kid you not, for this quote-unquote crime, and that's the only quote-unquote crime, which is not a crime, this scumbag of a doctor, and that's what he is, he's a scumbag, literally threatened Izzy and Kathy to their face. Izzy and Ruth, forgive me, I'm sorry. Izzy and Ruth, I'm thinking about another case. By the way, I'm not, seriously, we got another rally in 3 weeks. It's almost a rally a week now, there are so many abuses. So I'm already thinking the next one. I'm going to have other people get into the details. But he's from Iran, trained in Iran, trained in Tehran.
Down with Sharia.
And Izzy and Ruth said, look, we just don't want to vaccinate our child. If you're not comfortable, we'll go to another pediatrician. I don't see how much more reasonable parents can get. He threatened them, Izzy and Ruth, to their face and said, either you let me jab your child now, or I'm filing what they call a 51A. That means a report to DCF in which they're mandated to come to your home and take your child away from you. And so they took their child out of the doctor's office, again, very polite, and said, please don't do that. We're going to go to another doctor. But what did this sleazebag do? DCF 51A. DCF came with an army of police in Fitchburg, just an hour north, knocking on the door, saying, let us in, we want your child. They said absolutely not. So you know what they did? They came back the next day, this time with more police, more guns, more DCF. Ruth was hiding in a closet with her 5 children, petrified that they were going to seize all 5 of her kids. For what? For what? For what? For what? Because they didn't want to vaccinate their 9-month-old baby? Izzy and Ruth then made the decision. Let's go to Texas. Let's take our children to Texas. The mother and the father, a loving couple for 15 years, said, we're taking our children to Texas. What did these scumbags at DCF and right behind me do?
Which one?
They contacted Texas Child Protective Services and said, there's a warrant for their arrest. We want the parents, we want the children, we want them now.
Faster!
And so, Texas police, with their custody, their Children of Protective Services, kicked the door down, arrested Izzy and Ruth in front of their children, terrorizing and traumatizing the children. Izzy was held 30 days in jail. By the way, where were his due process rights? To all you moonbats, you care about some MS-13 criminal illegal alien. You cry for him. What about Izzy's rights? What about Ruth's rights? What about their due process? As I like to say, you phonies, you frauds, you. Izzy was not able to see his 5 children for 30 days.
Still in jail.
He's still in jail.
Going on 7 weeks.
7 weeks. 7 weeks he has not seen his children. He is now in a jail here in Massachusetts. Has not been able to see his children. They have cut off all communication that he can have with the outside world.
That's criminal.
4 of his children have been handed over to the grandparents. The 9-month-old baby boy, the healthy, well-fed, well-loved baby boy, has now been given to the sister of Ruth. They have now temporarily lost custody of their children. Here is what they're planning to do. To show you how authoritarian, how dictatorial, how abusive DCF has become, and why this scandal is going to tear this agency to the ground. They are now threatening to put Izzy and Ruth in prison for 5 years each. On the grounds, listen to this, even by DCF standards, I gotta say, I gotta hand it to the moonbats back there. Even by their standards, this is creative. Seriously. On the grounds of, this was familial kidnapping. Familial kidnapping. A mother and a father have kidnapped their own children.
It's impossible.
Because apparently you can't take a trip with your children to Texas. So, 1 count, 1 year in prison for each child, 5 years in prison, and the permanent loss of custody of all 5 kids.
Unacceptable!
I wish this was a one-off horror story. But as you just heard earlier, and you're going to hear now from some incredible speakers, it's not a one-off. This is happening every single day. DCF in this state, Child Protective Services in state after state after state, where good, decent parents are being persecuted, targeted, and their families torn apart because they will defend their children against these corrupt gangsters at DCF who have a financial interest to claim as many children as they can. Well, we are here now to tell them the corruption stops now. And we are not asking, we're not here to petition a request. We are here to demand that Izzy and Ruth Rivera are released, all charges are dropped, and that their 5 beautiful children are reunited with the people they should be, their mother and their father. So let me end by saying this before I start making the introductions to the other incredible speakers that are going to be here. Speaking in a few minutes. What DCF, what the Democrats, what the progressives and the communists in this state and in this country are trying now to enshrine is that they are now trying to claim that our children are ultimately a property of the government. That the government owns our children. Well, I got news for them. It's not the government's child. It's our children. And we will stand up and defend parental consent, parental authority, and the God-given rights of parents to raise their children as they see fit. And so, Kuhner Country, I want to thank all of you for coming. And I want you to know, on this issue, the majority of Massachusetts is behind us. The majority of America is behind us. And I have just reached out to the Trump administration, to the Trump Department of Justice. And I am asking the President and Attorney General Pam Bondi to stand with us. Okay. Trust me when I tell you this, we are going to make some history today, okay? We're going to make some big history today. There is a bail fund, thank you. Okay, so there was a Give, Send, Go, forgive me. Okay, so there was a Give, Send, Go page for Izzy. Because Izzy needs to get out of jail, and they put his bail. By the way, they give this bail for murderers. Like right now, bang, not that I would ever do it, but bang, $25,000 bail. That's what they gave Izzy Rivera. So they're raising a lot of money for him. Now you know what they've done? They've frozen his Give, Send, Go. They've frozen it. Because they're afraid he's going to reach his $25,000. They don't want him out. You know why? Because he may come on shows like mine. and he may blow the whistle because he knows the truth and he's going to speak the truth. So there is a fund here to help Izzy get out of, to meet his bail so he can get out of jail, see his parents, see his wife, see his lawyer, and get a proper, adequate defense. So please, whatever you can give generously. All right, Joan, who do you want me to go to first? By the way, she is incredible. Joan Queen Eastman. She has been writing stuff in the Boston Broadside. In fact, she is the one, she's very modest. She literally broke this story in the Boston Broadside. And this story has been picked up by the British press, by the American press, by the national media, outside of the incredible Boston Broadside. No other local press or media outlet dares to touch this story. But, that's right. Oh, you're right. Where's Channel 4? Where's Channel 5? Where's Channel 7? Where's 10? Where's 25? Nowhere. You know why? Because they're here to cover up for the crooks and gangsters at DCF. That's why. But it doesn't matter. This has now gone above the local media. This story is too big. They cannot suppress it. And the lady that broke the story and drove the story was Joan Queen Eastman. Joan, thank you. Citizen journalists like her, and you've got a couple of really good ones in the crowd that are going to be speaking, are the salvation of this country, I'm telling you. So, all right, Joan, you're basically, I mean, I know technically, it's like my home. I'm in theory the head, but you really run. My wife runs everything, well, Joan really runs everything.
No, here's what we're going to do. First of all, thank you so much for your contributions. We'll pass that bucket around. We've got to get this father out of jail so that he can defend his family, his case, and the truth. So we have a terrific lineup of speakers here. We have some very important announcements to make. But before we get going, there is someone that has to leave early. John Beaudoin and Julie Booras, please come up here just for a quick minute. Both Julie Booras and John Beaudoin have made absolutely incredible strides to fight vaccines, to fight for the religious and medical exemptions. Come on up here real quick. Julie, do you want to, this legislation that keeps being proposed for us to be vaccinated against our will and to take away our exemptions, it's kind of like whack-a-mole meets Caddyshack, and every time you think you beat it down, it pops back up again. It's just ridiculous. How many more years do we have to stand up here and say we don't want this? Rebecca Rausch has reintroduced this legislation 6 ways to Sunday. The people have said they don't want it. The legislators have said they don't want it, and she keeps pushing it through. So, Julie, would you like to introduce John, or do you want John to go first? Okay, John Beaudoin has a book here. It's available over there. Buy it, but listen to what this man has to say. It's amazing.
All right, about a minute, so I'll try to make it quick. A lot of people around. Louder. Okay. Gotta go right into the mic. There are people around the world who know who I am. I don't do it much in Massachusetts, but I looked at all the death records in Massachusetts. I can tell you what people died from. 90% of the COVID deaths were fraud. Blunt force trauma to the head, blunt force trauma to the torso, acute fentanyl overdose, COVID. Most people here don't know my history with DCF. I went many rounds with DCF. It took me 6 years to get custody of my kids. My lawyer is here, Greg Hessian. He's sitting right over there. They took his license to practice for 2 years in the middle of my case because he tried to protect the girl from being taken by DCF. So they came and they got him later. They took his license. They get about 30 grand a year per child from the federal government to take kids away. So their job is to take kids away. It's federal incentives that make everything happen. In addition to that, they'll sit outside somebody's house at 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up the kids and check their bodies with nobody ever saying anything happened to them. Why? Because they want their overtime paid for 3 o'clock in the morning. They're evil people, every single one of them. You sit in a room with them, you can feel it. They're incredibly evil. With regard to vaccines in Viera, God bless him for not vaccinating his kids. God bless him. Just one last thing. Chapter 1 in the book Cassidy Baraka was 7 years old. The only thing it said on her death record in part 1 was that she died of COVID. She reacted to the vaccine in 5 minutes, vomited for 8 to 10 hours. They gave her a second vaccine. Terrible abdominal pain, 103-degree fever. She was dead in 5 days, and they told everybody to go get your kids vaccinated. They lied to everybody. I'm at the First Circuit in my appeal against the Governor, Public Health Commissioner, Chief Medical Examiner, and 4 individual medical examiners for fraud on death records. I think my time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John. And I just want to point out that those vaccines, COVID-19 vaccines, are still being given to babies and pregnant women. 3 shots by the time I believe they're 9 months old. So my name is Julie Booras. I am the co-founder of Health Rights Massachusetts, and I'm going to be real quick. So we've heard today there is very dangerous bills moving through the legislature right now that violate parental rights, religious, and medical freedom. They have been filed for the 4th session in a row. We are going on year 7 of this foolishness, and it's getting exhausting. These bills would remove the religious exemption for all schools, public and private, and this has already happened in California, New York, Maine, and Connecticut. But some good news, states like New Jersey and Hawaii have pushed back, and they have kept their religious exemption because of massive public pushback. There are bills that would allow all minors to consent to preventative care, including vaccination and sterilization, without parental knowledge or consent, regardless of age. Preventative care could really mean anything. Let that sink in. I don't know a parent in the world that thinks that this is a good idea. This is massive government overreach. And if people don't wake up, if this doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. I want to add one point that most people don't know. In Massachusetts, so far, there are 41 school-based healthcare centers. Anybody know about those? Well, it's happening. So they would like to give, medical providers would deliver comprehensive health assessments, physical exams, screenings, sexual and reproductive health, immunizations, prescription management, lab tests, emergency triage, I'm okay with that one, and respond to public health emergencies. Behavioral health also, I don't know. Is this what we want for our kids in school?
No CRT.
So you really just have to wonder, why do they want minor consent so badly? Yep. Okay. So just in response to these very bad bills, there is a bill, an act relative to bodily autonomy and family integrity. It protects the fundamental right of all people of Massachusetts to make their own health decisions for themselves and their family without coercion. It says, no person may be mandated, required, or coerced by any public or private entity or person to accept any health-related intervention. Persons have a fundamental right to bodily autonomy and self-determination in making health decisions for themselves and their minor children. Please support this bill. We have another bill that prohibits the requirement of COVID-19 vaccine, mRNA vaccine, and gene-altering procedures. There are several state groups that are working to oppose these bills. Health Rights Mass is one of them, Health Action Mass is one of them, and Mass Family Institute is another, and there's more. So please support, join one or all of these organizations. They're organized and they're fighting back. And one last action, if you can find someone with this clipboard, we have a petition that you can sign addressed to Maura Healy and the Department of Public Health. No more COVID vaccines for children. None of our taxpayer dollars spent on COVID-19 for children. Vaccines for children. So thank you, everyone. Health Rights MA, please join our email list, get involved, and thank you so much to Jeff Kuhner and everyone that put this together today, and Joan, I really appreciate it. It's great to stand here with you and fight for freedom.
Okay, How about a little DCF sucks, right? Come on, can we get DCF sucks? DCF sucks! 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 Whose children? Our children! Whose children? Our children! Whose children? Our children! Okay, before I introduce Maureen and Ann, and believe me, they got some big news. As we always do at a Kuhner Country rally, we are going to say the Pledge of Allegiance and then sing the national anthem. So, Joan, where's Joan? Joan, do we have the... Oh, you're doing the... Christina. You're going to do the national anthem? Okay, what are you... Sorry, who's your last name? Okay, Viera? Okay, Christina Viera is going to sing the national anthem. Thank you, Christina.
Do you want to do the pledge first?
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, let's do the pledge.
Thank you, Jeff.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
If you don't mind, I would like to say a quick prayer to our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses. In the glory forever and ever, amen. Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the land of the free and the home of the Thank you. Hands off our kids! Hands off our kids! Hands off our kids! Hands off our kids!
Great job, Christina. Thank you very much. Excellent. You hit it right out of the park. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let's give another round of applause for Christina, please. God bless you, Christina. Okay, my next guest, if you listen to the show, obviously needs no introduction. She was on last week. She did an absolutely outstanding job. She has written one of the best columns on this scandal. She is an incredible citizen journalist. She is also the co-founder of American Made Foundation and American Made Action. Both her, there's a team, it's a duo, but let me introduce the first one. She's got just a force of nature. Maureen Steele. Maureen, come on up. And before Maureen talks, and obviously Ann Vandersteel is going to follow her. It was American Made Foundation and American Made Action that is literally sponsoring this rally. So I want to thank Maureen, and they flew up from Florida. They arrived this morning at 8:30 just to be here. So Maureen, a big thank you from the bottom of my heart, and welcome.
Well, it's certainly a pleasure to be here, and thank you all for turning out for this really, like Jeff said, historic day. And I need to use my note card, so I need to figure out a way to mount this up. Can you hold it? All right, thank you. All right, I got a nice microphone over here. We have a very important announcement to make. Ann is going to talk more after me about what we're going to do. We have our director of the legal counsel here. He'll also speak to give you more of an idea of legally how we are going to fight back against the deep state. But 250 years ago, you can't hear me? Is that better? 250 years ago, this very week, on April 19th, 1775, the first shots of the American Revolution rang out at Lexington and Concord. Just down the road from where we now stand, farmers, blacksmiths, and shopkeepers faced down tyranny with nothing but muskets, courage, and the conviction that liberty was worth dying for. They had no army, no media, no wealth, just each other and the will to be free. Yeah, I just think these are close to my face. Today, in this very city, the once cradle of liberty, we stand again at a crossroads. The muskets may be gone, but the tyranny has returned. It doesn't come wearing red coats. It comes wearing robes, badges, lanyards. It comes wrapped in bureaucratic authority and delivered through alphabet agencies that trample your rights, your children, your future, and call it law. Let me be perfectly clear. We the people have had enough. This is why we are here today, to officially announce the rise of a movement, not a protest, not a trend, but a historic, lawful, and unstoppable movement for accountability, justice, and truth. It begins with American-made action, a grassroots force forged from the fabric of American people. We are farmers, lawyers, teachers, veterans, mothers, fathers. We are organized and executing coordinated national efforts to root out corruption from the ground up and the top down. To that end, we are proud to introduce the Department of Government Accountability, DOGA. DOGA is not a campaign slogan. It is not a watchdog. It is a sledgehammer of justice. It is coming for corrupt judges, rogue agencies, fake courts, and all the unelected tyrants who treated the Constitution like an inconvenient speed bump on the road to tyranny. You violated your oath. We're coming for you. You trafficked children under the guise of state protection. We're coming for you. You laundered money through NGOs and weaponized justice against the people. We are coming for you, and we are bringing the law with us. Because tyranny does not get to wear a name badge and walk free. Not in our republic, and not anymore. And to enforce the law, we have created under DOGA the United Law Coalition. Christopher Burns is the director of that. He will speak to you after Ann. It is a nationwide network of attorneys, judges, paralegals, and law scholars who are tired of being spectators to our nation's destruction. Amen. They are men and women, currently 1,000 strong, who remember why they went to law school, to serve the truth, not the tyrants. They are taking up legal arms in a war to restore constitutional order, filing lawsuits, pressing charges, exposing criminals in robes, and the individuals that once walked the hallowed walls of our house. They've become criminals now too. They are backing every lawful effort, including those in Washington, D.C., to clean house and drain the swamp. Yeah! If you're in D.C. fighting for truth, we will stand with you. But if you're not, if you're protecting the deep state, if you're silencing whistleblowers, if you're complicit in the rot, you are going down with the ship. This isn't rhetoric. This is the will of the American people. And you can feel it now. Can't you? The tide is turning. The people are rising. There's no stopping what comes next. They told us we were divided, that we were isolated, that we were powerless. That was a lie. We are not divided. We are 80% united. That's a statistic. That is true. We all want safe homes, real justice, constitutional courts, and peaceful communities. Black, white, rich, poor, we all want the same things. We've just been manipulated into thinking that we don't. But the illusion is dead now. The propaganda machine is collapsing. The corporate media is a corpse propped up by corruption, and we are replacing it. So here's another announcement. Behind the scenes, we are building United Media Coalition, a truth-driven alliance of citizen journalists, networks, broadcasters, and platforms to expose what the government is trying to hide. They won't be able to censor us. They won't be able to ignore us. The light is coming, and it is going to burn. And to every grassroots group watching and listening, we invite you to stand with us. We are not here to take over your mission. We are here to amplify it. And if your charter is rooted in truth and liberty, we will lift you up. We'll give you the legal support, we'll give you reach, and we'll give you teeth. This movement is not about ego. It is about survival, of truth, of family, of country, of soul. Because we are not just facing political decay, we are facing spiritual rot. And the only cure for rot is life. So let this moment be remembered. Let this date be carved into the stone of our history. April 24th, 2025 in Boston, Massachusetts, where liberty was first born. The people declare once more, we will not kneel, we will not cower, and we will restore our republic. With God as our witness and the Constitution as our sword, we rise now, not as victims, but as sovereigns. And may the enemies of liberty fear us coming. This is the reckoning. This is the rising.
Magnificent speech. Magnificent speech. Thank you very much. Yes, you want to hear something?
And now it is my pleasure to introduce my partner, Vandersteel. She's an incredible journalist. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen her fearless reporting from Panama and down on the border. Anne has never been afraid of the truth. And come on up, Anne.
Ann Vandersteel is also a co-founder of the American Made Foundation, American Made Action. She's got a massive following on social media. Honestly, both her and Maureen, I'm not saying it to stroke their ego. You're looking at two of the finest, bravest, really most brilliant, courageous citizen journalists in the country. So when they're announcing not just DOGA, but this new media offensive for an alternative media, this is serious. And I'm telling you, the moment is now ripe. Watch. This is going to spread like wildfire. So please, Kuhner Country, let's give Ann a very warm Kuhner Country welcome.
Good afternoon, Boston. It is awesome to be here in the birthplace of liberty. You guys rock. I'm just so honored to fly up here today. I love this town. I love your food. I love your people. I don't love your government. Okay, let's just get that right out of the way. I'm just a little bit about me. I've been broadcasting for the last 8 to 10 years. I jumped in this game fearlessly because my parents kind of made me go to school and study this stuff, and I decided that cable TV was not for me back in the day. Here we are now, and I've never looked back, and I'm only looking forward on how we're going to save this country. So instead of daily shows, saving the day. Not looking back, looking forward, and stepping away from the mic on the daily show to let great people like Jeff Kuhner keep going and carry the torch. Maureen and I are stepping into action. It is time that we get into action. American Made Foundation was born because we need to make sure you all understand your rights.
How many know the Constitution is a trust indenture? That we are supposed to be the beneficiaries of the Constitution and the government is the trustee? Folks, the fact of the matter is, we're the trustees and they're taking all the money. They're the beneficiaries. It's been flipped upside down and inside out, and it ends today. This is the shot for the second revolution, and we're starting with taking down these unconstitutional agencies. The Department of Children and Families is nothing but a department of clueless and classless frauds. They are stealing your money, your children, your livelihood, and your life, your happiness. They're blood-sucking evil demons. I have not heard a story yet that says, ooh, they did something good. And that's the truth. I'm looking at this sign right here. This man's holding destroying children and families. That's what DCF stands for. We're going to stop that. You know, they say the rising tide lifts all boats. Well, when Paul Revere said, one if by land, two if by sea, I see two right now, because we are boats on the sea, but we're going to get our feet back on the land where we belong, because the Constitution is the law of the land. And the Rivera family have had those rights stripped the minute they had their doors busted in and held up by gunpoint and their children terrorized by a completely rogue and unconstitutional agency. I challenge anybody to look in the Constitution right now and find any one of these government agencies listed anywhere in our Constitution. The U.S. Code, all those numbers and decimal points that sound intimidating, those are rules for them. That 10 square miles of corporate fraudocracy in Washington, D.C. That's their law. That's their legislative democracy. That U.S. Code applies to them. It has nothing to do with us standing right here in the Republic on the law of the land. Our Constitution protects us from that nonsense. And we are going to use their fiction, their stuff made up, their legal fiction under these rogue administrative laws and agencies, and we're going to flip the tables like Jesus on their heads, and we're going to go after them using their codes. And we're holding them accountable to all the laws they've broken, not only statutorily, which applies to them, but constitutionally, which protects us. The Rivera family have had their religious rights thrown out the window. They've had their rights to privacy and keeping their things, the Fourth Amendment, thrown out the window. Due process, 5th, thrown out the window. Trial by jury, 6th, thrown out the window. Speedy trial, 7, and then it goes on to 8, etc. This is unacceptable at this point. We are 250 years old. Have we learned nothing in 250 years? Have we learned a lot in the last 4, thanks to COVID? There's a silver lining in that horrific 4 years when they shoved mandates in our face. We couldn't help but see how they unmasked themselves. The evil behind the bioweapon. The evil behind the fact that they're going to force vaccinate you, and if you work for a big corporation that's saddled up with that, they're absolutely going to force you into doing it or you lose your job. The tables are turning, the lawsuits are coming, and I'm also working closely with the J6 community because I have a lot of friends I talk to regularly that were in prison. I was there that day, and I will tell you, we didn't do anything wrong. The Fedsurrection. And by the way, to the friendly FBI that's out here today monitoring this situation, thank you for taking me off the domestic terror list. I can now fly without being taken to second base 6 times a week by the TSA. I appreciate you. My great-great-grandfather who fought in the Revolutionary War appreciates you for at least giving me back my freedom. My right to travel is a freedom. I am entitled to that, and so are you. The problem we are faced today, folks, is we don't know what our rights are, and we think privileges are rights. These illegals coming across the border, and I've seen hundreds of thousands of them because I've been in the Texas border, I've been down in the jungles of the Darien Gap with famous war reporter Michael Ianni many times, spent months down there. I can tell you they're afforded far more rights when a rogue judge, Boasberg, is telling the executive branch to turn a plane around. Are you kidding me? But yet they're going to lock up a family because they said no to a shot? Show me where in the law you have to vaccinate anybody. Can anybody show me this? I didn't think so. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Okay, I want to just touch on a couple of things here because I want to make sure I get these points out. DCF derives its power from legislative acts, none of which override due process. That means due process, your 5th Amendment, your constitutional right. Nothing can override the Constitution. That is the highest law in the land. There's God, there's us, and then we created government and corporations. They cannot override your right to a trial by jury. Mr. Rivera has not seen any of that yet, or the fundamental rights secured by your own United States, Massachusetts Constitution, nor do administrative tribunals constitute courts of record. These family law courts are nothing more than judge, jury, and executioner. You have no representation. You have everything stripped. And oh, by the way, you're paying for it. All of this you're paying for. Everything, every right that's taken from you, you are paying for it. This is the point of American Made Foundation. We are coming together, media, law, people of all shapes, sizes, and colors, and denominations, and jobs. It doesn't matter, because God made us supreme. He gave us dominion over the earth. The Bible is explicitly clear over that. We have the right to rule over. He said, take care of my land, my oceans, my water, and my air. He wants all of it taken care of. Your LAW, land, air, water. That is the fundamental law book, and we violate that every day. These people in here violate it every day, and we're going to the Department of Justice on 6 May at 12 noon to stand in D.C. on those steps. Jeff Kuhner, we'd love to see you there. And we are telling those folks there the same thing, that American Made Foundation and American Made Action are here to tell the people their true rights, their God-given rights, and how they can protect themselves and defend themselves from an overreaching and tyrannical government. I want to also take a second and thank some of the most important people out there right now, because we have people like Jeff Kuhner, who without this and making this broadcast out to his massive Kuhner country following, you all wouldn't be here getting the education that you need. I want to thank all the partners that are coming to American Made Action to partner up with us in media, to partner up with us in law, and to just learn more through our foundation about their rights. I want to thank We the People too. .us, the other banner to my right here, We the People 2.us. We have a lot of their action steps that you can take. You can file affidavits, you can file notices, and you can serve these scumbags behind us the information that they need to know to protect your rights, because no longer do we serve them. These people up there in the balcony are looking down on you, and I mean they're looking down on you. This ends. They work for us. These are our public servants. These are our public servants. They are supposed to be taking direction. Why does it take years and years and years of begging, sir, please may I have another? It shouldn't take years to get what we want done. They should just do it.
How about they open up
it's
the
so
people's
simple.
house? How about they open up East
You know what? This isn't even a Trump thing. This is a people thing. This is not left or right. This is about God's rights that he bestowed upon his children. It's that simple, it's that fundamental. Don't let them make it complicated. It doesn't need to be complicated. I want to thank you all very much today for this opportunity to be here and speak with you guys. Jeff Kuhner, you're amazing. Joan, Quinn, Eastman, you're amazing. Maureen, I couldn't do this without this incredible woman. Not even possible. But please support organizations like American Made Foundation. It's a 501c3. Support organizations like American Made Action. We need the support because we are funding these federal lawsuits. And I'm going to let you want to drop the bomb?
Another bomb.
Or Chris do it. Okay, we'll let Chris drop the bomb.
And I just wanted to say what an honor it is to have worked in the trenches, shoulder to shoulder with these two incredible women for 2 years. All for nothing but blood, sweat, and tears and love of country. Really urge you to support their effort because they are onto something really, really big. We are restoring our republic. It's coming back to us thanks to women like this. Thank you so much.
Take it away, Maureen.
All right, I would like to introduce the director of the United Law Coalition, which is 1,000 strong and growing. This is the largest legal movement in our national history. This has never happened before, probably never will again. I hope it doesn't. I hope we never need to be here again. Chris Burns, come on up. This is attorney Christopher Burns. He practices in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. He is a federal lawyer.
My name is Christopher Burns. I'm a constitutional attorney and board member of American Action, Department of Governmental Accountability, and the director of the United Law Coalition. I went to law school because, I believed I was meant to protect the innocent and uphold justice. That's what the law was supposed to do. But after 23 years of actually practicing law, I've come to the conclusion if there's a way to screw it up, the courts will. The courts, the reality is the profession has been hijacked by bureaucrats and corrupted by politics. Today, some law schools don't even require a course on constitutional law. Constitutional law is an elective, like it's an option. Instead, new attorneys are trained in codes, policies, protocols, and administrative law, policies which are contrary to the Constitution. Every state constitution and every judicial officer pledges their fidelity to the Constitution, yet laws in violation of the Constitution are passed and enforced every day.
Speak up.
Judges rubber stamp administrative recommendations, police forces enforce administrative codes. Evidence is replaced by emotion, all in the violation of the Constitution and your fundamental rights. The United Law Coalition was formed because countless attorneys like me have had enough. Quietly over the past 7 months, we have been organizing a network of attorneys now numbering over 1,000 strong, reviewing complaints, writing amicus briefs, and applying legislative pressure. We filed our first federal case in New Hampshire 6-7 months ago. Our next case, and this is what Maureen and Ann were referring to, our next case is right here in Massachusetts regarding the Viera family against Child Protective Services and all parties involved in keeping their Viera children away from their parents. If you have been victimized by Child Protective Services, find someone like me. There are people, there's a whole network that will help you. Don't roll over. Don't play dead. Today, reclaim the law in the name of we the people.
Thank you very, very much, Chris. Look, my friends, we are going to take our country back. And I'm telling you, it's a groundswell all across the entire country. It's not just here in Massachusetts. It's not just across New England. It's literally in the heartland in all 50 states. And what is now happening is that the people now sense that the government is corrupt, that it's out of control, out of touch, and they have to understand once and for all, like Ann so brilliantly said, we don't work for them, they work for us. So, okay, Joan, who would you like me to introduce next? Mike King, another good guy. Here's a real culture warrior. Mike King from the Mass Family Institute. Mike, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for coming out. I want to talk to you about parental rights. How many of you guys are concerned about parental rights here in Massachusetts? How many of you know a kid that's in the public school? Maybe you're a grandparent, a parent. I want to talk to you about what we can do, how we can work together to protect your kids. I hope you'll be encouraged. I want to start in the town of Sutton. You guys know where Sutton, Massachusetts is? A year ago, a drag queen showed up unannounced to the Sutton High School and danced in front of minors. Would that maybe upset you if your minor child was watching that at school and you didn't even know about it? Well, so many parents got upset. Guess what they did? They rallied together, and long story short is they flipped their school board, okay, and ultimately got rid of their superintendent. This can be done in Massachusetts, and we want to help you do it at the Massachusetts Family Institute. Well, there's now Sutton 2.0, I like to call it, and that's in the town of Burlington. How many of you guys know where Burlington, Massachusetts is? Not too far from here. So if you've been listening to the radio recently, we've been getting some press on this. So the school had given a survey to minors, 6th graders, 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds, right? With very inappropriate material, like, when's the last time you had a drink? Or how about this? Have you ever had anal or oral sex? To a 6th grader. And even, this is even more egregious, that parents actually opted out of the survey, and it was still given to the kids. So on behalf of the children, we have filed federal complaints to threaten their federal dollars at the Burlington Public School. And we want you to know that we are there for you. We just launched the Massachusetts Liberty Legal Center. This is a pro bono First Amendment attorney organization for your First Amendment rights. All right? So if you need help with your First Amendment rights, I want you to text, if you know how to text a keyword to a short code, I want you to text LEGAL to 87891. Text LEGAL to 87891. We want to make sure that your First Amendment rights are protected. We're also, lastly, I just want to tell you, we're putting together an alliance. Would you think it's important that we have, these rallies are great, but if we don't do anything about it, right, then it means nothing. So we want to make alliances in all 351 towns and cities. Would that be a good idea? Right? So when your school committee gets out of bounds, we have people that can not only run for school committee, but we have people that do something. All right? So we already have 100 towns and cities represented on our alliance with over 140 people, and we want to add to that. So if you're interested in being part of the Massachusetts Parents Unite Alliance, I want you to come up to me today and let's get you signed up and let's change Massachusetts one town at a time. Thanks so much.
So what you can see now is starting to happen. You've got grassroots organizations, state organizations, national organizations. It's really all starting to come together. And look, I always say this. The most powerful weapon in the world is the truth. All we have to do is speak it. And if we speak it, I'm telling you, we will win. We will win. And by the way, just so that you know how grotesque some of this is. Right, the big Supreme Court case just a couple days ago, Mahmoud v. Taylor, I talked about it on the show, about whether parents should have the, opt out if there's sexual content or transgender content that they feel is inappropriate for their children. I wanted to do the Burlington story. I'm serious. I wanted to do it. It's local. It's getting a lot of national attention. Fox, Newsmax have picked up on it. Mike King's people, Massachusetts Family Institute, have been all over it doing incredible work. I couldn't do it. You know why I couldn't do it? Why? Because if I say oral or anal sex on the air, I'm serious. I get a multi-million-dollar fine, FCC's breathing down my neck, and I probably am out of a job. So my point is, think about this. I'm not trying to brag, but here is one of the biggest shows, not just in Boston, millions of people streaming across the country. Mostly here, this audience, right? Adults, kids, but primarily adults. And I literally cannot describe to you what they're asking sixth graders, 10, 11-year-old kids, because it is so explicit, so obscene, so graphic. iHeart's going to get hit with a multi-million-dollar fine, and the Kuhner man's out of a job. I mean, just think of how insane that is. So, and these people are patting themselves on the back. No, really, and it's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse, and mark my words. This is, if we don't stop this, and I'm telling you, that's where we're going to win. Because it's 2024. They've gone too far. This is such grotesque overreach. This is such extremism. Frankly, it's insane. Okay, it's perverse. It's sick. The majority of people, even in a blue state like Massachusetts, don't want it for their kids. Period. Full stop. And honestly, the only other two things left is pornography. Like, I mean, just, show the video and just see them and say, hey, look, kids, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm telling you, they're going to push pedophilia. You look, you go to some of these school libraries, I'm telling you, go to some of these school libraries, high school kids, holy mackerel. Yeah, it's close. It's very close to adults having intercourse with young kids. Forgive me. Having intercourse with young kids. So what I'm telling you is, it's Epstein Island. Yeah, that's what it is. They're trying to mainstream and normalize the perversion that is rampant in Hollywood, rampant among many politicians, and rampant in Washington, D.C. And we, the silent majority, are telling them now, we are not going to be silent anymore. Hands off our kids. Whose children? Whose children? Whose children? God bless you. Okay, all right, Joan.
Hey, Kuhner, they shut the door up there. They don't want to listen.
Greg what? Greg Hessian, my God. All right, listen to this. You want to see how bad DCF is? I love this guy. In a non-sexual way. I love you. Listen to this. DCF is so freaking out of control. Do you know what I have beside me right here? This handsome man who's got more hair than I do, but let that go. Who doesn't have more hair than I do? All right, Greg Hessian. He's a lawyer at DCF. Against DCF, forgive me. A lawyer against DCF who is so disgusted by what's going on. This is the guy you need to contact. Greg, please.
Hello, everybody. My part of this is to tell you about the enemy. I'm going to tell you, I spent 30 years defending parents against the Department of Children and Families, or as one mother called it, the Department of Cruelty and Failure. So, I'm going to tell you some things about what these people back here have done to us. And most of us don't know these things. First of all, there is no deeper state than the deep state of DCF. And the part we never see is the federal part. And I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, because without that, it would grind to a halt immediately. It's not just these guys. It's Washington as well, but we're going to get to that in a second. But let me tell you a little bit about what this agency does. Okay, this agency has 4,000 employees. At any one time, they have around 10,000 children in the Commonwealth in captivity. 10,000 children. In this state, nationwide, about 500,000 children are in captivity at any one time. You hear this? This is how bad it is, folks. All right. So, in the Commonwealth, my calculation, by seeing what the statistics that they themselves put out, about a third of the families in the Commonwealth have had some interaction with DCF over the time that they've had children. Let me tell you a little bit about that. About 80,000 people right now in the Commonwealth are involved with DCF in some level, so the families, okay? And 100,000 people every year call what I call the snitch hotline. They call it the child abuse and neglect hotline. 100,000 per year people call that hotline. Get their neighbors in trouble, their family in trouble, their ex in trouble that they hate, their neighbor in trouble. Okay, so I'm going to suggest in a moment what some of the fixes are for this, but it's very important to know what's really behind this. What's really behind this is what's going on in Washington. It's the money. The administration of children and families. Nobody even knows who they are. There's this gigantic bureaucracy the size of a city that funds this stuff. And back in the 1970s, they said, aha, we're going to homogenize this, and we're going to bribe all the states to put together their own DCF. And every single state complied. They send them a boatload of cash as long as they have done it their way, with the snitch hotline, with the with the warehousing of children, and all the other things that DCF does. Now, one of the things that they do is they have an evaluation process. They have 7 factors that they have to evaluate, and they've been doing this since they started. Believe it or not, no state has ever once passed the evaluation, ever. Not one, ever. And yet, even though they say unless it passes you don't get your money, they give them the money. Of course they give them the money. And it's billions just for this state by the time they add it all up, because they get all these kids, they put them in special ed, they give them drugs, and more drugs. They send them to the shrinks, they do everything. A 5-year-old, of course, needs a shrink, right? Probably because they took them from mom and dad. So behind all that money that's coming from Washington, if they didn't have that money, forget it. They couldn't run this hellhole of an agency. So, what's the solution? Well, there's a few. The first thing they could do, and this is back here that could do it, and it would only take a flick of a pen. They could open up the juvenile court process to the press and the public.
Yes.
It's secret. It's a star chamber. It's a secret court system that nobody can get into. The second thing that they could do is change the definition of abuse and neglect. Right now, I have stood in front of a judge several times who said, literally, from the bench, if parents fight in front of their children, it's abuse. And she will take the kids. She has taken the kids. All right. We need to change the definitions to conform with reality. Now, when we say take, think about this. This other case that we've talked about, the Rivera case. I have, in my 30 years, I've seen the police come and take the door off of houses. Many times. Jail people. Many times. Kill children. Many times. Right. This place is worse than you could ever imagine. So let me suggest a couple other fixes. All right, first, and the other thing they can do is separate the warehousing function from the kidnapping function. Now, whether you know it or not, there are roving bands of kidnappers that go all around the Commonwealth from this agency that work all night, especially on Friday and Saturday nights. That's when they love to kidnap. So they're out there, and they'll come at 3 in the morning or 1 in the morning, and they'll knock on your door, and they will take the kids out of bed, and they will warehouse them for an average of 2 years. And why? Because the federal incentives are 5 to 1 for kidnapping and keeping the children, as opposed to trying to keep the kids in the home and helping the parents if they need it. Okay? The federal incentives are what drive this. The suits downtown know this, and they're going for the bucks. So taking the kids makes the money, and that's what they're going to do. Another thing we can do is get juries and due process back in the system. There's no due process at all. You can just take the kids. It's something they gleefully call and euphemistically call administrative law. Well, there is no such thing. Administrative law is just a bunch of guys sitting around saying, we don't like what you do, so we're taking your kids. And that's the end of it. Now, many of the people have stood up here and said, we're fighting, and we must. But just keep in mind, it's hard to fight against that. It's hard to fight against a bunch of faceless bureaucrats in airless rooms who make these decisions. And these people up here, and I've gone to many of these hearings, and by the way, just as an aside, Jim Lyons is the only guy that's ever been at any of these hearings that helped us. So thank you. I hope this helps to know what the enemy looks like.
This man is a font of knowledge. Every time I talk to him, thank you so much, Greg Hessian. We're all here because we're outraged at the treatment of this family, right? He has a website called Mass Outrage, and he's also a regular contributor to BostonBroadside.com. By the way, we have complimentary copies of Boston Broadside here. Please take them. He talks about steps you can take. It can start by going over there, reading and signing a notice. The notice is due process. We give the government the due process they're denying us. And Jeff, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce you to a few people right now. I'm going to call up a bunch of people because at the core of this story with the Riveras is that DCF assumed that they were going to do things, and they were stopped because they could have done something, but it wasn't imminent danger enough to issue an Amber Alert. And when the children came back to Massachusetts and were checked out, they were all in perfectly good health. And yet there are all these rumors going around that the baby was severely neglected, that the father's unstable because the father actually knew his rights and spoke them. And I truly believe that this is why he is being persecuted, because he's telling the truth and they don't want you to know it. And right now, Jeff, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce several people who have also been subjected to the same thing. Come on up here. Sue Ianni is a J6er. She actually went to jail. Samson Racioppi, come on up here, also a J6er, and a lawyer who's having an issue with the New Hampshire Bar, and Vitale and Shawn Nelson, come on up here. Let me tell you, each one of these people, just like the Vieras, has been lied about. The law has been used against them with no proof. This cannot stand. We cannot let people be persecuted, and we can't let the law be used against them. The law is here for us. The law works for us. So, Sue, do you want to say a quick word? Do you want me to give it to Samson?
Hi, thanks everybody for coming out. This is so important. And yeah, remember when Trump said, they're not after me, they're after you. We're just standing in the way. I felt the brunt of that after January 6, 2021. We were allowed into the Capitol by police who welcomed us in. You know, even a lot of people just said, can I just use the bathroom? These people went to jail. Prison. I went to prison, a medium security prison, for listening to the police, doing everything they said. Oh yeah. Someone said when we got inside, I guess somebody said USA, so I'm like this, USA. So, you know, I'm a real thug. You know, I thought that was First Amendment, but whatever. They said we were there to kill members of Congress. They said we were there to overturn an election. They had no proof of any of this. Not only that, you cannot overturn an election by showing up at the Capitol. Even if we were armed and no one was armed. So, just wanted to let you know, this is lawfare and it's terrible what they're doing to people. God bless you all for coming out here.
This woman is such a great patriot. She has not stopped fighting through all of this. And you know what? People like Sue Ianni and Vitale and Brian Foley, well, not so much you, Brian, because you're so young, and Shawn Nelson, we've all been through the ringer. And the key of all of it is that they are being persecuted without proof, the same way the Rivera family is, the same way this father has been separated from his children, his 5 children who he homeschools. He told me, I am so scared about my children. I can't imagine what they're doing without me. I'm so involved in their lives. Can you imagine that pain? This is just cruel and unwarranted punishment, and we must make it stop. I'm going to transition over to somebody who's helped with many DCF cases before. This is Samson Racioppi, also a colleague of Sue Ianni's. They were at J6 together. And because of his political stance, he's lost huge accounts. Oh, we heard about him. He's this and that. Oh, we heard he's a white supremacist. We heard there's an article on BostonBroadside.com about Samson Racioppi being shut out of passing the bar. Well, why should he have to ask anybody's permission to practice law? But what's happened is Samson has just received an important document that he wanted to open live here on the State House steps today.
Thank you, Joan. I will not take much of your time at all. I know it's hot. I just want to share with you real quick that I went to law school because I did not like what was going on in the United States with the loss of our rights, the things that we were told that we had here, the right to free speech, the right to practice religion, the right to petition our government. It's all disappearing, and it bothered me as a military veteran. So I went to law school. I said, how can I make a difference? clearly politics is not where it's at. I tried, it's all corrupted. I gave up very quickly. So I went to law school and I passed the bar in 2022. First time around. And then I was notified that you're still not going to be able to practice law because of something called character and fitness. And I don't want to get into that because I can't talk about it. I want to thank you, Joan, for covering the story. Maureen, I have not met you in person, but you wrote a wonderful story as well, and thank you. And what this is a decision from the New Hampshire Supreme Court. I just got it yesterday. I wasn't even going to talk about it today, but I figured I'll open it in front of this crowd and tell you whether I'm a lawyer or not. This is going to be an order that says either I'm a lawyer or I have to go through a continued process at the New Hampshire Supreme Court where I convince them that I should be a lawyer. So here we go.
Jeff, we need a drum roll. We need a drum roll here. Samson has made himself available and he's continued with his patriotic activities despite all the obstacles. And, well, let's see what this says. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I've heard so many horror stories since I got involved in law, and it bothers me that I can't even help these people. But here we go. In the matter of unnamed bar applicant, that's a good sign. The two orders are being resent on this date to an updated address. Boo. On or before May 22nd, 2025, Samson Racioppi shall show cause by a written response filed with this court why his application for admission to the New Hampshire bar should not be denied. So that means I'm not an attorney. I have to convince the court why I should be an attorney. That's what this was. So, I'm sorry, guys. I'm still just a paralegal, but I will help however I can. Thank you very much.
He's fantastic. It takes knowing the law, it takes knowing the process, and it also takes stepping up. And right now we're going to introduce three people who are all stepping up. This woman right here and this man right here did a huge protest. Well, Catherine, we were all at the DCF downtown Boston a few years ago to protest the removal of our beloved Rabbi Greens. They were trying to take 6 of his children. Very, very similar story to the Rivera story. And Shawn was also at the DCF rally in Lawrence. The mother and daughter who spoke before, they were all the same people. We were there trying to protect a baby from getting the shot against the will of his father, Nathaniel, and Shawn was arrested. These three have all been arrested. This is Brian Foley over here, and Brian has a quick announcement before you hear from Catherine Vitale and Shawn Nelson, and all 3 of them has taken it to another level. They have stepped up and they've run for Boston City Council. Shawn's running now, Brian's running now, Catherine ran last year, she's handling Shawn's campaign now. This is just awesome. And you guys grew up in South Boston together, right? No? Okay, all right. So, Brian, so we did a story in the Boston Broadside about Brian. Did you hear about that? He was in South Boston, his town, with his Trump flags. He was beat up by 15 people for carrying the Trump flag. He was pummeled. We saw all his injuries online. I wrote this big story. I felt like, he was part of my family for 2 weeks doing this story and calling him in the middle of the night. Then he disappeared. Tell him why.
So after the attack, it was so close in proximity to the election that the national campaign wanted me to take a step back, make sure I was healthy, make sure I was good, because the news started swinging it that I was the aggressor. I was the violent one, yet they had a BK security camera footage corroborating my story. I got sent to the hospital on spinal injury. I had a box cutter across my throat. They let all of these kids go. Their parents were involved, and they did nothing. So that's why I stepped up and I ran. Because 2 days later, a 65-year-old woman was attacked in a Taco Bell up the street, literally 2 blocks from where I was attacked. My city council did nothing. Boo did nothing. And this city is on fire, and it's time we put it out. We make it great again. Right, folks. I stopped talking because the national team stopped me too, but that's it. I'm done. I don't work for Trump anymore. I'm my own individual. I'm my own candidate, and I'm running Boston like it should be run. Trump called me. I took his phone call, and he gave me the advice, the knowledge, and the schooling that I needed to get this done. I didn't want money. I'm not in this for money. I'm willing to donate the full $100,000 out of my salary back into my community where it needs to go. I'm willing to take $25,000 of that salary if I win.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. All right, come on over here, Catherine. Come on over. Look, we've got Catherine Vitale here. And Catherine brought her baby. You want to come stand up next to Shawn? Here, come on over here, Shawn. So these two, as I just mentioned, are activists, and they're walking the walk. They're not just talking the talk. So Catherine, I'm going to hand it over to you now. And Jeff, just to remind you, Catherine was the caller before me the other day. Have you met her before? Yeah. So now you know Catherine. Everyone knows Catherine.
Hi. So first of all, I have my prop baby here today because if Michelle Wu can carry a prop baby around every day, I can too. So my name is Catherine Vitale. I'm from Boston originally, and I ran for Boston City Council in 2023. I've been an activist for 5 years, and now I'm a homeschooling mom on welfare. The reason why I got involved in politics and the reason why I'm on welfare is because of DCF. DCF tore apart my family back in 2018. I had a case in 2015 that was open and shut with no problems. And then in 2018, they came back and I wasn't aware of my rights. So they took my 2 children away from me. My children were ages 4 and 2 at the time. They had them for 5 months. I was able to get them back. So many would say that I was lucky because in a lot of cases, most cases where they take your children away, you don't get them back. But I did, and I believe that God put my family through that experience so that I could talk about it and so that I could help people with their experiences. And my children are with me now, and they're fine. But since 2020, I've been a political activist, protesting everything from vaccines to Michelle Wu. Shawn and I have both been arrested for peacefully protesting Michelle Wu. She put our names on a hit list and sent it to the police, and then they started brutalizing us and arresting us. Back in 2022, we were protesting in front of her house. They actually passed a city ordinance legislation to ban us from protesting in front of her house, and then they arrested us. When those cases started, I miraculously, coincidentally, got a new DCF case, and I don't believe in coincidences, but so I got a new DCF case in 2022. But the difference in 2022 was that now I knew my rights, so they weren't going to get my kids again. And I went through, I think, 3 or 4 different attorneys with the case in 2022. That case lasted a year, and I ended up firing the attorneys and representing myself. And they did try twice to file for temporary custody, and they failed. And I represented myself, and I won that case. I also want to say that for my arrest in front of Michelle Wu's house, myself and my co-defendant, Shannon, who's not here today, our case was going on for 2 years. They dragged us to court for a disturbing the peace charge in front of Michelle Wu's house. And we eventually did fire our attorney, and we represented ourselves at a jury trial, and we won that too. So if I could say anything of impact today to you guys is the most important things that you could do for your children are to know your rights, to get them out of government schools. They shouldn't be in schools. It's your responsibility to take care of your child. Stop dropping your children off to strangers, please. If you need help and you're not sure how to start homeschooling or how to afford homeschooling, I'm on welfare. I don't know how to do it either, but I'm doing it. I'm homeschooling my children because I don't see any other option. I have to do it. So if I have to be poor to do that, I will. And you have to speak up. You can't come to a rally like this and then go home and pat yourself on the back. I mean, thank you for coming, honestly, but you can't pat yourself on the back just for showing up today. You got to do more. You got to do more. And if you don't know what to do, please find a way to contact me and I can help you. I can help you figure out what to do. Run for office or work for somebody, volunteer for somebody who's running for office, or show up at local meetings. You have to do more. Everybody, we all have to do more. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much. And so now I'd like to introduce Shawn Nelson, who I mentioned is involved in a lot of the protests that they do. Shawn Nelson served in the United States Marine Corps, and he is running for Boston City Council District 7.
Thanks for that, everybody. Like Catherine said, my little background, born and raised in Boston, with the English high school, graduated. Eventually, joined the Marine Corps. Unfortunately, my time was short. Don't ask, don't tell. Eventually, I became a nursing assistant. I worked through the pandemic. I was there day one. They were calling us heroes, showing up to work. I've had patients leaving me here when it was all like, get sick. It was nothing. But yet, when Biden got into office, he tried to tell people like me who showed up to work while he was sitting home in his basement, take the shot. And as a medical professional, I'm a person I'm cautious. Give me some time. Let me go see what would happen. They couldn't stand that. But yet the mayor down the street claimed that my body, my choice, when it's for abortion. But when I choose something from my own body, no, we're going to twist your arm. We're going to make you take it. And it's like, that can happen. I'm 46 years old. I remember these little programs on TV that told you to stand up for your rights, not to be a follower, but they seem not to actually care. As someone who's black, gay, a nursing assistant, and a vet, these are the same people who will come out on TV and support me. But then when I said no, they turned against me. Like my friend Catherine said, they made me look like I'm a black thug who's coming after them with knives and guns. And it's like, the only thing I've ever done is stood my ground, even when they sent Boston police and the state troopers after me, never backed down. But these were the same people who were telling me, well, we love you, you're accepted, you're welcome. But when I said no, they turned their backs on me and became vicious. Today, I literally just came from court when I had my constitutional rights violated, tackled to the ground in front of Michelle Wu because I chose to use a megaphone at a distance in a wall in front of Boston police because she did not like what I said. How are you about choice, but yet you're making people take a vaccine for their jobs? And the next thing I know, I have over about 6 police officers tackling me to the ground with Michelle Wu basically watching and walking past. These are the same people that say they're here for everybody else, but when you challenge them, they become hypocrites, they become tyrants. And I want to let you know, it's possible. My friend Catherine and a few of our friends, we reopened the State House during the vaccine passport. That was us. We opened it twice. It was less than 10 people. We held our ground. They got embarrassed because they weren't expecting people to stand up because they know that we're all quiet. We want to stay on our keyboards. We don't know our rights. The second time that we fully opened up the State House to the people, no masks, no vaccines, that was at my cost of my freedom and another friend, where we got arrested for peacefully protesting to get into our State House that we pay for, the People's House. And we were arrested, and that arrest reopened the State House fully. As Catherine said, I was in the DCF in Lawrence for a father. DCF called the police claiming that they were in danger. We were on peacefully protested on the sidewalk. But because I challenged the police officer and called him out on what he was saying, you're arrested. And that arrest, once again, I'm now in court, will be in May. They actually broke, they arrested another woman. They broke her ribs, and she was just standing there telling them, what is he doing wrong? But because you challenge them, they become cowards. But I want everyone to know, I'm going to wrap this up real quick. They also took away her gun license, even though she did not have it on her. It was concealed. She never even pulled it out, but they pulled it. I want everybody to know it will be hard work. They will challenge you and they will threaten you. But understand, when you come out through these protests and you challenge them, your biggest weapon is your camera and your phone. Ask the simple question. They are more afraid of us than we are of them. We have challenged more. Is someone here from the governor's office? I see, because I know a few of you were walking around taking photos for the governor. Are you going to come up here and represent her? Actually, I do recognize a few of you from my TikToks. But I'm not saying this right now. We can rise up. They are scared of the people, not us. We give them the power. They hope that you're sleeping and you won't do anything. That's why Massachusetts and Boston are running down in the grave, because they know we won't do anything. When we stand up and say no, they run and hide. We need more Paul Revere's.
Thank you, Shawn. Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you, Brian. By the way, Attorney Bill Gaines has helped with a lot of these cases and a lot of these situations. And Carly is now expecting a baby. I'm so happy for her. The one that had her ribs broken at the DCF protest in Lawrence. All right, Jeff. This is it. The grand.
Okay, our final speaker, I'm going to introduce in just a second, but
I want to say this to the governor's people. And they've been taking pictures the whole time. And videotaping. And they've been trying to come after me now for a long time.
Give me that phone.
You tell Holden Maura Healy, her days in office are numbered. That the people of Massachusetts are sick and tired of her mismanagement, her corruption, and her tyranny. And we've been hearing from her, but soon, come the election, you're going to hear from us. And speaking of a warrior, and I mean an absolute warrior, the police are here. And I mean the vaccine police. Where is he? There he is. All right. We've got, remember, Ann and Maureen flew in all the way from Florida. Well, this guy, you can tell by his hat, came a little bit longer, from a little bit farther away. This is Christopher Key from the great state of Texas.
Hold on. No. I was just in Texas. I'm from Alabama. I'm Christopher Key. The government hates me. Christ is in me is in my name. Never forget it. Christopher. My last name is Key. K-E-Y. God's given us all the keys to open up the doors that Satan never wanted open. And it's up to us together.
Amen.
Not divided. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're Jewish. I'm Catholic. I'm white. It doesn't matter.
Amen.
Quit letting them divide us.
Amen.
The shot heard around the world today, and I'll explain this here in a second. I'll come back to that. I was just in Waco, Texas. Does everybody know what happened on April 19th, 32 years ago? Our amazing government murdered 86 men, women, and 20 children. This happened on April 19th, their high holy day, and exactly 2 years later, what they do? 1995, you know what happened on that same day? Oklahoma City. They are laughing at us. And it's time you guys understand this case right here is monumental. This family knows their rights. A lot of you guys don't know me because nobody can see what I do because the government hates me. They fined me hundreds of millions of dollars 11 years ago, and I have a court order for life. I can't help people in my great state of Alabama. So that's why I'm here in Boston. I've never been to Boston, but I see like I got some good people here. And guys, I've been part of 4 national championships, 3 Super Bowls. I've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I've been on Jimmy Kimmel, Stevie Colbert, all those freaking idiots. The prostitutes, the talking parrots, they've done everything they can to silence me. But I will not go away because all those things said, my greatest accomplishment in life was the day I became a father. My greatest accomplishment in life was the day I became a father. I was one of the biggest pushers of vaccines. I love vaccines. I thought they cured polio. I thought they were the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then God gave me my twins. They were born with what's called PKU. You've never heard of it. It's one of the most rare diseases on the planet. Well, my children will never, ever eat protein. No milk, no chicken, no cheese, no fish, no birthday cake, no ice cream, no bean protein, no protein. If they do, it becomes toxic, goes straight to the brain, and causes the most extreme mental retardation there is. But it was a blessing. It was such a blessing because my Lord and Savior forced me to test and prove all things. All things. Not some things, not the little things, all things.
And it started with vaccines. I went to my doctor, and the guys, bear with me, okay? You need to hear this. I went to my pediatrician, and I told him about the PKU. He said, oh my gosh, I've only read about that. I've never had a child, much less two. And I said, well, Doc, you wanted to vaccinate my kids today. Well, what can you tell me about PKU and vaccines? He says, well, Christopher, I'm glad you asked, because your kids are part of a new schedule where they're going to get 72 vaccines before they're 18 years old. I said, Doc, I had like 8. My goodness, what happened? He says, well, Christopher, I don't know, but that's the new schedule. And I said, well, Doc, I love research. You guys don't know me, but I research backwards, forwards, and sideways. I study the human temple. That's what I did. And I said, Doc, can you show me a study that this new schedule's safe? He said, Christopher, there's thousands. No, there are tens of thousands of studies. I said, well, great. Can I see one? He said, do what? I said, can I see one of those tens of thousands of studies? He said, right now? I said, yeah. You got my precious children on the table, about to inject them. Yes. He said, Christopher, nobody's ever asked me. I said, Doc, well, I'm asking you, and I got to see it. He said, Christopher, I don't have time now, but I'll have it by your next appointment. So I said, great. So guys, 4 weeks go by. We go in. The nurse has 3 shots up for my daughter, 3 for my son. They're about to inject them. I said, ma'am, Doc was supposed to show me one, just one of those tens of thousands of studies, just one. I said, go get him. We got to talk. He comes in. He will not look at me. He will not look at me. He says, Christopher, there are no studies. But Christopher, they have to be safe. They've been approved by the FDA, the CDC, the AMA. You don't trust us? I'm like, hell no! Okay. So, I'm quick. So, again, guys, there are no studies. Please, this shot that they're trying to inject to this precious child, if you only here, listen to one thing. 2010, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled all vaccines are unavoidably unsafe. Wyatt versus Bushwick. Go look it up. That's why this family right here, they're standing on their religious exemptions. You guys want to spread them out, take them another day. This now is a death shot. The new mRNA technology, let me tell you this before I leave. mRNA technology, it has 7 snake venom peptides in it. It also has MRC-5. That is the aborted baby that they murdered to grow out your vaccine. It is fully intact. Fully intact. And you guys want to inject this into your child? Right now, I just left Texas. They're trying to push this measles outbreak. 3, God bless them, 3 children have died. There's 800 cases and the sky has fallen. It is an outbreak. It is another pandemic. It's another pandemic. And please, if you only listen to one thing here today, the shot heard around the world has to be no more shots. Can I hear you? No more shots. 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 Thank you, brother. Amen. Please, don't believe anything I've told you today. Nothing. Zero, nada. I'm the least of these. I'm dyslexic, I'm ADHD, I'm LD, I'm dumb, and dumber. I am, and I freely admit it.
From the shots.
But I used to be bad because, number one, I give everything to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Number two, I did this for my children. My children are 26 years old. But now, I took the gloves off. Y'all thought They thought I was bad before. 6 months ago, I became a grandfather. And my grandson will never, ever look at me and say, Peepaw. That's another story, Peepaw. Peepaw, why did you stand up? Why did you speak up? I'm speaking up. I'm speaking out. I got a lot more to do, and I will get it done. God through me will get it done. Will you guys stand up and speak up and stop this tyranny? No more shots! Lastly, please, I help people without drugs, chemicals, and surgery, and this is what they hate. If anybody has any pain in their body, I give it away for free. Come see me. ChristIsKey.life, that's my website. ChristIsKey.life. Our new news network is KNN.world, where we will show you the truth. We'll be fair and balanced. We won't be prostitutes. We won't be talking parrots. We will not do the narrative. We'll give you both sides of every story, and then we will let you decide your truth. ChristIsKey.life. Love you guys.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Wow, this just shows the reach and the impact of Jeff Kuhner. He's our national treasure of truth. Listen to him every morning on 68 RKO. How about that? Jeff, thank you so much for making this happen. And isn't that something you said, this is going to be the shot heard around the world? And it's because of a shot. And it's because of a shot, a child being denied a shot. Jeff, I have a very special request for you. Another amazing story on Boston Broadside that was broken on Boston Broadside and went international has to do with a wonderful woman named Janet Aldrich. Do you remember you had Janet on your show? She was kidnapped, and she was medically kidnapped and stuck in the hospital, and we rallied around her and we got her out, and she is the founder of Calm Film Freelance Media. They're finally meeting, and she just wanted to come up and thank you, Jeff, and say a few words. We've been on quite an adventure together. She is 82 and going strong.
I just want to thank Jeff, Kuhner, and Joan, and many other people who are standing here, because Jeff advertised my story at the Leahy Auschwitz Asylum when I was stuck there for the 10 days off, and I survived. And John Abramson over here on the camera. I'm telling you, if I didn't have a press group in Massachusetts, I would be dead. How many people here, if you went through what I went through, didn't have a press group? Maybe everybody should put their hands up, because there were people that know me that prayed, they called the hospital, there were so many things, but I'm telling you, he is a spokesman for the soul of America. It's not and I started my videotaping to get my finger on the problem. And I discovered the problem is the public record law does not exist. Okay, so I'm just saying thank you to you, Jeff, and Joan. Joan is a hero. She showed up at my son's house when I was on the sick bed, like an angel or something, like whatever. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, 25 people came in the streets. Can we help? Can we help? And they raised $6,000 to keep me alive, and I'm alive, okay? Praise God! I have problems with stairs, and I just have, but I mean, I am really back, okay? God bless you all. God bless
you. Thank you to everyone who showed up to rescue Janet at the beginning of COVID. She was stuck in there. They literally left her to die with no water because she refused the shot. She refused remdesivir. She is a warrior woman, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad you finally got to meet Jeff. All right, so once again, before I hand it back to Jeff to close, I just want to acknowledge another person here, Karina Demerchian. I would really like you to please meet Maureen and Ann and connect with them, because we are the citizen journalists. We're the only ones telling the truth. This is a press conference. Where is the press? We invited the governor. Where is the governor? Okay, so what can you do? You can go to Greg Hessian's website, massoutrage.com. You can subscribe to the Boston Broadside. Please get that paper. It's the little paper that could. It has broken so many international stories. You can listen to Jeff Kuhner every morning and learn other actions, but most importantly, get over there and sign those notices, because whoever is interested, we're going to walk into the State House and deliver those to Governor Healy now. We're starting due process with our public servants. We are putting them on notice that we are no longer tolerating this tyranny. You might wonder why I'm so impassioned about this. I'm a proud mother of 4 children, and I have been blessed with 10 wonderful grandchildren. My family is right over here. I'd like to bring them up so that you can meet them, Jeff. And please, if somebody would take a picture, because I really want Jeff to see the faces behind the people that he's helping. One of my grandchildren was taken by DCF. I cannot tell you what that did to our family. And it was typical playbook DCF. They pit the parents against each other. They blame one another. They separate them. They divide and conquer, just like what's happening in our country now. And we cannot stand by and let it sit. It is simply criminal. It's outrageous what they're doing. They take your children first and ask questions later. Do you think that's right? No, that's not right. And there are so many people here that have horror stories. I want you to find Janet Aldridge, find people with cameras, tell them your stories. Let's get your stories out there. Let's shine the light on this darkness. And let me tell you, the evil forces have been against us since we first talked about this, Jeff. They've thrown every obstacle in the way, right down to this speaker falling down, almost hitting this gentleman 5 minutes before we started. It's unbelievable. But we cannot be deterred by that. This is a battle between good and evil. Please go to the tables, sign the notices. Anyone who wants to walk into the State House with us and deliver them, we welcome you to do that. Engage in the process. The law is on your side, not their side. They are perverting it to use it against you. And actions like American Made Foundation and American Action and Jeff Kuhner are making a difference. So let's just keep shouting out there from the rooftops, loud as we can.
Thank you, Joan. Okay, it's obviously people are getting tired. It's very hot. So just another minute or two, we're going to sing God Bless America, and then we'll officially end the rally. I want to thank, again, Ann Vandersteel, Maureen Steele, American Made Action, American Made Foundation for sponsoring this, for their incredible, heroic work. I want to thank Joan, Eastman, obviously everyone that spoke, all the speakers, but above all, from the bottom of my heart, I really mean this. I want to thank you, Kuhner Country. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for all your incredible support. We have been together now over 10 years. We have been in the trenches. We have fought battle after battle after battle. And 2024 in many ways was the mother of all battles. And people thought it was impossible, but we did it, baby. We did it. And I'm telling you that we can win this battle as well. And what I'm so proud of is that this incredible loyal audience that keeps growing and growing by the day, we truly are the heirs of the Founding Fathers. We truly stand on their shoulders. And I remember my grandfather, one of the things he told me, and I'll never forget it, that if you're ever blessed to be an American citizen, you have won what they used to call the lottery of life. We are so honored and privileged and blessed to be Americans. Please never forget what it is to be an American, and that our fundamental God-given rights, thanks to the 1776 revolution, which is the greatest revolution, and I believe the greatest event in human history, our founding fathers fought for this very sacred principle, that our fundamental rights do not come from the government, they do not come from Maura Healey, they do not come from Marxist Michelle Wu, who, by the way, has taken over $300,000
in dirty communist Chinese money. But let that go. Yeah, he was Chiang Kai-shek. No, I know. Yeah, Chairman, yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's right. Mao was a mass murderer. And so it doesn't come from DCF. It doesn't come from the state. It comes from God Almighty. And that the only reason why we have a government is because we allow them to be in power. And so, and not anymore, exactly. So what we are now telling them loud and clear is that your days of corruption, your days of tyranny, your days of abuse, just like King George III, and like every other tyranny on the face of this earth, is coming to an end. And to heal these people in particular with your little cameras and your little pictures like a bunch of children, I want you to know, like we told Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and now I'm telling you, Kuhner country is the tip of the spear. And also, because I know this gets really under her skin, so let me say it. To Maura Healey, to Michelle Wu, to Speaker Ron Mariano, that fraud. You can kiss my big, fat Croatian ass! That classy, edifying note. I want to thank you very much. Please drive safely. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. And let us free and reunite the Rivera family. If you can, please make a donation, whatever you can give. And before we go, Christine will sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you very much. Please make sure you sign the petitions. Please make your way to the table.
I'm standing in your chamber watching power play its part. You pound that wooden hammer like you're pounding on my heart. The rules you keep reciting, they don't match what's in my soul. You push and press your limits, but I won't let you take control. La la la, won't let you take control. Order, order, that's what you keep saying, but your order's out of order, and we're through with all obeying. When they cross that line, we draw another one. When they push too far, we show them what we done. Every time they try to break our resolve, we rise up higher, watch our spirit evolve. Your papers and procedures can't contain what's right and true. The boundaries you're breaking make break away from you. Your honor, I'm dishonored by the way you bend the rules. Using power as your platform while we're standing here as fools. La, la, la. Standing here as fools. Motion, motion, that's what keeps repeating, but your motions causing commotion, and our hearts are still beating. When they cross that line, we draw another one. When they push too far, we show them what we've done. Every time they try to break our resolve, we rise up higher, watch our spirit evolve. Stand our ground, precedent and principle playing out their parts, but principles inside us, they're beating in our hearts. Your law books and your lectures can't measure what is right. When conscience calls for justice, we'll stand up and we'll fight. When they cross that line, we draw another one more time. When they push too far, we show them what we've done. Show them all. Every time they try to break our resolve, we stay strong. We rise up higher, watch our spirit evolve. We rise up, we rise up. You've talked the talk, now walk the line. No more silence, it's justice time. Our babies cry, their hearts betrayed. 5 torn from home, while cowards obey. Do you hold the pen that writes the fate? By what authority do you dare to steal what love and conscience bear? Hands off our kids, you crossed the line. You used our children as your shield, but truth is marching sword unsealed. By what authority we now demand? Stand and face the people stand. A fallen, jailed for loving strong, held 5 months for doing no wrong. You point your guns and call it peace, but your power's built on fear, deceit. So we rise in the name of liberty, with battle pain and baskets clarity. From Beacon Hill, we cry aloud, the people speak, sovereign and proud. Hands off our kids, the line is drawn. No fiction or law will shield your wrong. We want our family whole again, and justice for the rebellious when. By what authority and the dark, something stirs in my heart. Just a spark, growing strong. When they say I'm all wrong, you try to change me, try to rearrange me, but there's a fire inside that you can't deny. They can't dim this light. They can't dim this light. Born to shine so bright. Born to shine so bright. They can't dim this light. From sea to shining sea. They can't dim this light in me. Red and white, stars above. This is mine, this is love. In my veins, freedom flows. Through the pain, spirit grows. You tried to break me, tried to remake me, but there's a truth inside that will never die. They can't dim this light. They can't dim this light. Born to shine so bright. Born to shine so bright. They can't dim this light. From sea to shining sea. They can't dim this light in me. In the quiet moments, when they think I'm beaten, rising from the ashes like a beacon burning. They can't dim this light. They can't dim this light. Born to shine so bright. Born to shine so bright. They can't dim this light. From sea to shining sea. They can't dim this light. They can't take away. They can't dim this light. We're here to stay. They can't dim this light in me. Black wings circle overhead. Your grip tightens day by day, but something's stirring in the wind. Can you feel it slip away? They say you'll rule forever, but time is on our side. The people stand together. No more will we hide. When crow falls, eagle flies. Liberty never dies. When crow falls, eagle flies. Liberty never dies. Liberty walking perfect roads. Your walls rise stone by stone, but in the streets and in our homes, the truth has always grown. You thought we'd bow forever, but now we're breaking free. 1,000 voices thunder across the stormy sea. When crow falls, eagle flies, liberty never dies. When crow falls, eagle flies, liberty never dies. Liberty never dies. Liberty, we will rise. Standing at the borderline between the dark and light, your reign is ending, our time is now. Can't you see it in our eyes? When crow falls, eagle flies, liberty never dies. When crow falls, eagle flies, liberty never dies. Never dies. Liberty, we will rise. Liberty, liberty, never dies. Liberty, we will rise. I see them walking through these halls of power, badge and title, they forget each hour. Who they serve and who put them in place. Time to teach a lesson with patience and grace. When they step out of line, there's a way. Not with anger, not with rage. Document and educate. Notice, serve, now watch and learn. Notice, serve, now watch and learn. Through the proper channels, we'll make them discern. Notice, serve, now watch and learn. Natural law is what they'll never unlearn. Now watch and learn. Paper trail speaks louder than their excuses. Rights and wrongs ain't what the statute chooses. Common law runs deeper than their rules. We the people are the masters of these tools. Send it certified, make sure they know. Give them time to answer, let the record show. Peaceful process is the strongest way. Truth and notice make the servant sway. When they cross the line, there's a path. Not with force, just do the math. Document and demonstrate. Notice, serve, now watch and learn. Notice, serve, now watch and learn. Through the proper channels, we'll make them discern. Notice, serve, now watch and learn. Natural law is what they'll never unlearn. Now watch and learn. Oh, they forgot their place, but we remember. Light the path of truth, make your change. Stand your ground with knowledge, not with every public servant needs to understand. They work for us, it's time to take a stand. Not with violence, not with empty threats, but with papers proving all their debts. To the people who they swore to serve, from the path of duty, watch how they swerve. But we catch them with the truth in hand. Notice, serve, now watch them understand. Notice, serve, now watch and learn. Through the proper channels, we'll make them discern. wrote your truth inside my soul. Before I took my first breath here, each step I take, I feel you near. Your wisdom makes my spirit whole. When I listen in the quiet, I can hear you calling me. Every choice that lies before me shows the way you'd have me be. Written on my heart, your perfect law. Written by your hand, unchanging grace. More than words could ever say. Your truth leads me day by day. Some try to drown your gentle voice with endless noise and hollow praise. But in my heart, you've carved your ways and given me the gift of choice. When the world demands my silence, when they say to turn away, still I feel your words inside me, showing me the price to pay. Written on my heart, your perfect law. Written by your hand, unchanging grace. More than words could ever say. Your truth leads me day by day. I cannot hide from what I know, cannot deny what you have shown. Every heart must choose its path, every soul must find its way. On my heart, your perfect law. Written by your hand, unchanging grace. More than words could ever say. Your truth leads me day by day. Your truth makes me brave. Your truth leads the way. Fight like colors, hold the crown. Red screams up, blue pulls down. But in that parchment, sealed and signed, no party line was ever outlined. By what authority do you lay that claim to bind the free and shift the blame? Who gave the power to right what's right, to dim the day and call it night? You hold no crown, you wear no sword, so by what right do you speak as Lord? They crown themselves in hollow pride, but truth's not found on either side. It's written clear, it's fixed, it's firm. It don't shift with each new term. They chase the throne but miss the creed. Forget that law is what we bleed. By what authority do you lay that claim to bind the free and shift the blame? Who gave the power to right what's right, to dim the day and call it night? You hold no crown, you wear no sword. So by what right do you speak as Lord? By what decree must I retreat when my own land lies beneath my feet? You draw your lines on sacred ground, then jail the man who stands his ground. The right to guard what's mine to keep was never yours to tax or tweak. Rights don't come from pens and seals. They're not bestowed in court appeals. They're written in by higher hand, beyond the reach of votes or plans. They're not conferred, they are declared. And government is only there to guard the flame, not claim the spark. To stand at watch, not rule the heart. If it wasn't you and it wasn't me, then where's the root of tyranny? A right once lost is hard reclaimed. So speak now or wear the chains. By what authority do you lay that claim to bind the free and shift the blame? Who gave the power to right what's right, to dim the day and call it night? You hold no crown, you wear no sword. So by what right do you speak as Lord? By what authority do they rule the land? Not by our voice, not by our hands. So if they won't yield, then let them see we serve no king but liberty. Let that breathe for a moment. See how it feels to you as a full arc. Want to adjust tone, rhythm, or sharpen any lines?
I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution.
Yo, I've been watching from the sidelines. Something ain't right, I can feel it in my spine. These suits and ties, they smile on TV, but underneath it all they're playing us, you see. I used to think the system worked just fine, till I started paying attention to the signs. Now every time I hear them speak their lies, I'm getting heated, yeah, something's gotta rise. They swore to serve, but they only serve themselves. Playing games while the people need their help. Breaking oaths like they breaking all the rules. Power to the people, we ain't playing like no fools. Checking back door deals in private rooms. Fat cats eating while the people face their doom. Selling votes like they selling merchandise. Democracy's for sale at the highest price. Bank accounts in places we can't name. Different rules for them, ain't that a shame? They got immunity while we catch the heat. Justice system working on a one-way street. And now I'm seeing clear what they don't want us to hear. Every promise that they break is another piece they take. They swore to serve, but they only serve themselves. Playing games while the people need their help. Breaking oaths like they breaking all the rules. Power to the people, we ain't playing like no fools. Time to call it what it is, straight up treason. Selling out the country ain't no good reason. Got the papers, got the proof in black and white of how they traded power in the dead of night. But we ain't staying quiet, nah, not this time. Every dirty deal's another federal crime. The streets are watching, yeah, we're keeping score. And best believe we're gonna even up the score. They think we stupid, they think we blind, they think we powerless. It's about time. Power to the people. Yeah. Power to the people. For real. From my window here as people pass on by, some faces filled with hope and cheer, while others question why. There's something stirring in the air, a truth we can't deny. This nation's heart beats proud and rare, we hold our banner high. They say we're fading fast, that freedom cannot last, but every dawn that breaks shows what a heart can take. This fire burns too bright, they'll never dim this light. Our spirit stays alive, 'cause freedom will survive. There's those who tear our spirit down and break what we believe. They try to steal our freedom's crown, but they cannot deceive. The flame has burned 200 years through every storm and night, and though they prey upon our fears, we keep it burning bright. They say we're fading fast, that freedom cannot last, but every dawn that breaks shows what a heart can take. This fire burns too bright, they'll never dim this light. Our spirit stays alive, 'cause freedom will survive. Stand up, stand strong. This flame burns on and on. United we remain. This torch will maintain. This fire burns too bright, they'll never dim this light. Our spirit stays alive, 'cause freedom will survive. Freedom will survive.
Another night at my desk alone, papers scatter, stories of pain. Each letter tells me something's wrong, the systems fail them all again. How many more? Don't even know. And the truth keeps hitting harder as I see what's going on. All these people living blinded to the damage being done. Who's gonna wake the sleeping ones? Who's gonna wake the sleeping ones? Tell me who's gonna wake them before all hope is gone. Oh, wake them up, wake them up, wake them up. used to trust the ones in power. Thought they stood for what was right. But money changed their sacred vows, and justice fades into the night. How many souls have slipped away? And the truth keeps getting clearer as I piece it all along. All these people kept in darkness while their rights are sold and gone. Who's gonna wake the sleeping ones? Who's gonna wake the sleeping ones? Tell me who's gonna wake before all hope is gone. I can't sit quiet anymore. I won't pretend I don't see. The walls of power starting to crack. It starts with you and me. I'll raise my voice above their lies. I'll share these stories far and wide. 'Cause silence only serves their side, and truth won't wait another night. How many more must lose their way? Who's gonna wake the sleeping ones? Who's gonna wake the sleeping ones? Tell me who's gonna wake them before all hope is gone? Wake them up, but to wake them now before it's too late. You built your throne on fear and lies. Thought no one see through your disguise. But the veil is thin and the wind has turned. The fire's rising where the people burned. You watched us sleep, thought we were tame. But silence ain't the same as shame. Now one by one I start to see the chains, the games, the mockery. We are not sheep, we are the storm. We're the calm before the world transforms. So tread real careful near our borders. There are dragons in them waters. You won't cage what can't be tamed. You'll only dance in your own flames. We are the keepers of the old sons and daughters. And there are dragons in them waters. You drew your maps with blood and greed, but forgot the roots beneath the seed. You think you rule from up on high, but the ground is shifting. The truth don't lie. You mistook our mercy for a yoke, but there's thunder stirring in the smoke. Push too far and you just might see what wakes when you set the wild ones free. Final blow. So tread real careful near our borders. There are dragons in them waters. We are the fire you can't drown. We're rising up from underground. We are the echoes of the mud, the martyrs. eyes. In them waters.
Mr. Larson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the first thing I would say is that throughout this incident, at all times, Ms. Encarnacion was acting in the best interest of her children and was acting to protect her children. I would suggest to you that she is in no way a flight risk, which may sound like a weird thing to say from someone who was arrested in Texas, but she was with her children, and she's not going anywhere without her children, and her children are here. As you can see from her record, Your Honor, she has very limited history with the court, a couple of minor motor vehicle matters over 11 years ago. She has no serious record. She has no convictions. She's a person who would tell you that she follows the rules. She's followed the rules of DCF in the past. DCF has been involved with this family in the past, and she's completed her service plans at various times. I note, Your Honor, that despite the sort of sensationalism of this case, it is only a misdemeanor. It's only punishable by up to a year in jail or a fine of $1,000.
On each count?
On each count, I understand, Your Honor. And I would say that my client has been in custody. She was arrested on May 7th in Texas, so she's been in custody for a month or over a month, which may, not to prejudge the case, but might exceed any sentence that she would receive in this case, even if she was found guilty. Given her record, I would suggest that at worst she's facing probation. I would also suggest that this case is ripe for a 3G motion. I carefully reviewed the statement of facts in this case, and I would suggest that there is certainly not probable cause for the charge. And even if there was probable cause, it's not a case that the government's going to be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. The reason being that the issue is going to be the notice of the court order and the service or lack thereof of the court order on my client. My client, by law, is the custodial parent of these children until otherwise, and I understand.
Didn't DCF, and I wasn't involved in those previous juvenile proceedings, but did DCF remove custody of the children from her and grant it to someone else? Physical custody?
DCF took custody at the care and protection hearing. The issue was
after a hearing, though, right?
After a hearing that my client was not present at. It's an ex parte hearing. It was scheduled for a 72-hour hearing, which is essentially what we would call a two-party hearing or restraint. The police, according to the statement of facts, they attempted to serve her with the care and protection on the 27th and were unsuccessful in doing so. The statement of facts said that my client was aware that DCF would take custody, but not that she was aware of any court order. And according to the statement of facts, they attempted to serve her with this court order on the 27th and were unsuccessful in doing so. There's also some indication in the statement of facts that they had some communication with Mr. Rivera about the court order by text message, and that he had responded to them about something about leaving it in the mailbox. But there's no indication in the statement of facts that my client was aware that there was a court order transferring custody. So I think that, I understand that that's an issue for another day, but I think it's relevant to the bail question because it's obviously relevant to whether my client's going to appear here. And as I indicated, she's not going anywhere without her children. Her children are here. DCF has custody, but they have been placed in the physical custody of her family members. Her mother has the older children, and her sister has the youngest, the 9-month-old. Upon her release, she's going to live with a different sister because she's not allowed to live with the children right now, obviously, because of the care and protection and the DCF involvement. She would live with her sister in Southbridge. And she certainly wants the court to know that she takes this matter very seriously, and she intends to appear to all her court appearances, and she's going to appear at her care and protection case as well. I think, Your Honor, frankly, that this is a personal recognizance case, but I did speak with her family, and they were able to raise the amount of $1,000 for bail. But my official request would be for personal recognizance, Judge. I don't think bail is warranted in this case, but if you decide that it is, they are able to post $1,000.
All right, thank you, counsel. All right, let me just say this. I'm not going to comment on what the potential sentence is that the defendant may or may not receive. Obviously, she's presumed to be innocent. The only issue I have is whether or not she will appear at a future court hearing. There are several defaults on her record. I am setting cash bail in the amount of $7,500 cash, $75,000 with surety. If she feels that amount is excessive, she has a right to a superior court bail review. I'm advising her that if she is arrested or charged with a new offense while it's suspending, that her release can be revoked and she can be held up to 90 days or until the case goes to trial, whichever is longer. I know that the co-defendant's coming back in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure if you folks had spoken about that.
He's here on the 15th, Your Honor. That was because I needed to get some discovery to him.
Okay.
I did provide discovery to counsel today on this case, so I don't think that quick turnaround is warranted here. And I believe we discussed the date, which...
Did that.
Judge, we got May 22nd. I'll wait for 30 days.
All right. Do we need to address any pretrial conditions now, or is that?
No, Your Honor. And as I stated, everything that I have, I did provide to counsel today and submitted a certificate of compliance.
No, I saw that. Thank you. All right, man, we'll see that, okay? Take care. Pretrial. Do you know if this is staying in the district court?
It's on this one here.
Okay.
Bail in this case, she's not a flight risk. She goes where her children go. She was at all times acting to protect her children, and she's not leaving without her children, so I don't think there was any basis to set bail at that amount. We're going to take her for a bail review to Superior Court, try to get the bail reduced to a more reasonable amount. She maintains her innocence in this case. She was not served with the order from DCF, which granted them custody, and I'm not disputing the order itself, but she was not served with it. So I don't think there's basis for these criminal charges. She intends on complying with DCF and working with the courts to try to get her kids back. And you know, we'll continue to fight this case, but I don't think this case is going anywhere.
Okay, thank you. How much is the bail now?
$7,500.
$7,000.
Yeah. What about the 75? How does that work? Do they have to pay 75,000?
No, so the way
do they have to get an insurance policy or something?
No. So in some states, when they set bail, you can pay a bail bondsman 10% to get the bail. In Massachusetts, they don't do that. So we don't have bail bondsmen in Massachusetts, because what they do is they set a surety amount and then they set a cash amount. So the surety amount is $75,000. So for example, someone could put up their house up to the amount of $75,000.
Oh, I see.
The cash amount is $7,500.
Okay, so
rarely, if ever, does anyone ever do the surety amount in Massachusetts. You just pay the cash. And that's how much you would have to pay a bail bondsman to put up a $75,000 bond. So that's why we don't have bail bondsmen. There's no bail bondsman in Massachusetts.
Okay.
That makes sense? So she's got to pay $7,500 cash.
But that's the one that you guys are appealing, the 7,500.
Yeah, you're going to appeal that to Superior Court.
Perfect.
Okay.
And she's back on the 15th of April.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Her case is May 22nd.
Okay, and the other person is?
The other person is April 15th.
May 22nd.
May 22nd
Yeah.
is her court date. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Janet Aldrich.
Yes.
I'm with Catch of the Day Video News and Confilm Registry. We cover courts. I'm registered with the SJC. So, and tell me your name again. So,
Attorney Kevin Larson, L-A-R-S-O-N.
and are you out of Fitchburg here?
My office is in Holden.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your comment.
Thank you.
Okay, give me a second.
Mr. Rivera, I am told that you are now asking for court-appointed counsel, and we will appoint counsel. All right, I am going to appoint counsel. I am not going to assess a fee. I understand I have the Cummel's birth certificate of compliance, and I just saw the paperwork being exchanged,
Yes, Judge.
which I know is a lot, so you need some time to review it.
Yes, Judge, my understanding is the co-defendant does have a pretrial date of May 22nd. I would like to continue this pretrial date over to the same date.
I think that makes the most sense.
Corey was looking for 5/12 or 5/15.
Not on the same day? I think probably because that was a 30-day date. Are you willing to wait for 30 days?
Yes, Judge.
And the co-defendant went on for 522. Can you do the, what were the dates?
5/12 or 5/13.
Can you do the 12th or the 13th?
One moment, Judge. Judge, I cannot do the 12th or the 13th. I am in Worcester. Unless I...
He's going to waive the 30-day date?
Yes, Judge.
May 22nd, sir.
Thank you.
We'll see you then. Held on the same terms?
For full term.
Pre-trial.
Thank you.
Thank you.